Disclaimer: I do not own the Haikyuu characters that are to be used in this story. Photos or covers were picked from Google. Credits to the owner.
Let's start from the top. Kyoko's voice rang across the gym, sharp and commanding. The groans from the team followed instantly. I promise this is the last one for today, she added, hands on hips. Come on, get into position. And in 5, 6, 7, 8. The team moved together, muscle memory kicking in. Flags swung in wide, practiced arcs, the soft snap of fabric echoing in the space. Each spin flowed from one side to the other, colors blurring midair in perfect sync. Shoya counted silently in her head. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The rhythm built, clack, swish, snap, a symphony of movement and sound. At Kyoko's cue, the team launched their flags skyward. Dozens of eyes tracked the spinning fabric. Each caught it cleanly. Thud, thud, thud. The pattern was nearly flawless. Beautiful, their coach murmured, nodding. Shoya, get ready. 6, 7, 8, spread. Stepping forward, Shoya became the center of attention. Alone now, her flag cut tight figure eights through the air around her. The room faded, no sounds, no eyes, just her. Her thoughts quieted. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. She threw the flag. It soared, catching the gym's harsh light and glowing like fire in flight. The world held its breath. Whump, it landed perfectly in her palms. The music exploded back to life. The team rose behind her, their movement blooming outward like a wildfire. Shoya had been the spark. Wonderful, the coach called out. Now on to the final act. 1, 2, 3, 4. They finished the routine in a tight block formation, flags flared dramatically to the left in their final pose. The music stopped. Silence. Only their collective heavy breathing remained. With a dramatic sigh, Shirofuku Yukie collapsed onto the floor. Ah, finally. That's it, coach called. Go home, hydrate, rest those arms. Good work, everyone. The team broke apart, wandering off in different directions to grab water bottles and towels. Shoya lingered behind, quietly catching her breath. Hey, Shoya, Yukie called, stretching. Doing cool down. Mind if I join? Shoya gave a shy nod. They moved through their stretches in silence, Yukie counting softly. Shoya preferred it that way. No need for words when she could feel the rhythm inside her. Done stretching? Kyoko asked, appearing beside them and handing over water bottles. Yup, Yukie chirped, taking one. How about you, Captain? All done. Kyoko looked at Shoya and smiled. You always exceed my expectations, Shosho. Shoya offered a small smile in return. I just did what I was told. I agree with Kyo, Yukie added, wiping sweat from her brow. You're really made for this sport. Shoya didn't answer. She smiled again, but there was no joy in it. The truth was, she had never wanted this. Back in middle school, she dreamed of playing volleyball. But her school didn't have a team. By the time high school came around, her brother had discouraged her from trying out. It's not for you, he'd said. You should try color guard. Her parents had agreed. Not wanting to disappoint them, Shoya joined. She didn't love it, but she gave it everything she had, because that's who she was. Come on, let's head home, Kyoko said. Kiyone-san, are you dropping by our house today? Shoya asked. Not today. I need to review for finals. Oh right, Yukie's eyes went wide. Finals. I totally forgot. You always forget about exams, Yukie-senpai, Shoya said, chuckling softly. I'm just busy being a senior, you know. Yukie huffed. Let me guess, you're exempted again. Shoya grinned, and Kyoko checked her watch. We really need to go, she said. Why the rush? Yukie raised a brow. Kyoko smirked. Because Shoya's going to be late for her crush's livestream. Shoya gasped and glanced at the time. Oh shoot, I have to go. Bye, Kyo. Bye, Yukie. See you tomorrow. She grabbed her bag and dashed out of the gym. Yukie turned slowly toward Kyoko, incredulous. Crush, your cousin has a crush. Haha, didn't I tell you? Kyoko laughed. Shoya really loves volleyball, but she never got the chance to play. Really? Yeah, she started watching a video of the Little Giant from some local team in Japan. That's what sparked it. Then she saw Kageyama Tobio on the national team, and that was it. She's Japanese? Yukie asked, surprised. Yep, but due to circumstances, she was adopted by Omi's parents and brought here to the US. Oh, Yukie's tone softened. That explains the emptiness in her eyes. Kyoko looked at her, puzzled. What do you mean? You know, Yukie said quietly, being in a place where you don't feel like you belong, not being able to do what you love. That's hard. She probably doesn't even know how to express it. Kyoko didn't answer right away. She thought back to Shoya's eyes when she'd mentioned her volleyball obsession. That faint sadness behind the smile, like a ghost she carried everywhere. Yeah, she said at last, her voice soft. I think you're right. Shoya burst into her room, kicked the door shut behind her, and dropped her bag to the floor with a soft thud. She made a beeline for her desk, hands fumbling for her laptop. I hope I'm not late, she mumbled under her breath, heart racing. The screen lit up as she quickly pulled up the livestream link, fingers flying over the keyboard. A spinning icon. Then, play. A breath of relief escaped her lips. Good thing, it just started. On screen, the familiar logo of Sports Update flickered in the corner, and the camera panned to a crowded press room. We're now joining the press conference for Japan's top setter, Kageyama Tobio, the announcer said. As many of you know, the star setter of the national team sustained an injury during their last match. Shoya leaned forward, resting her chin in her hands. Her eyes locked onto the screen as Kageyama stepped up to the podium, dressed in a dark jacket, his expression unreadable. Hello everyone, he began, voice steady. I'm Kageyama Tobio. As you may know, I sustained an injury during our recent game against Brazil. Due to these circumstances, I've decided to retire from professional volleyball to focus on my recovery and studies. He paused, bowing. Thank you for all your love and support, for me and for the Japan team. The room erupted. Mr. Kageyama, why retire so early in your career? Is your injury that serious? But Kageyama only gave another silent bow. Then, without a word, he turned and walked off the stage, leaving the press scrambling behind him. Mr. Kageyama, Shoya stared at the screen, stunned. Retired, she gasped. Why would he retire? The room spun for a moment. Her heart was thudding too fast. She reached for her phone with trembling fingers and hit the call button. Kenken, pick up, she whispered as the line rang. The call connected. Shoya, Kenken, is it true? She blurted out, pacing her room. We're still trying to figure it out, Kenma replied. His voice, though calm, was laced with tension. Everyone here's shocked by the announcement. Wait, you mean even the team didn't know? Yeah, not even the PR department. I'll call you back later, it's chaos right now. Shoya could hear the yelling in the background, players, reporters, staff all shouting over each other. Okay, talk later. She ended the call and lowered the phone slowly, her gaze returning to the frozen image on her laptop screen, Kageyama mid-bow, moments before he turned away from the game forever. But it wasn't just about the sport. Not for her. For Shoya, Kageyama wasn't just a volleyball star. He was something more, something deeply rooted in her past. A memory she kept close, warm and flickering, like a candle in a dark room. She was only a little girl when she met him. A brief encounter in a quiet park back in Japan. He'd been practicing alone, tossing a ball high into the air, focused and serious even then. She'd watched from behind a tree, fascinated. He saw her and smiled, not the cocky, sharp grin from TV, but a soft, quiet smile. And when he tossed the ball toward her, letting her try to serve it back, something lit inside her chest. That day, she didn't know who he was. She only remembered how it felt. And that feeling had stayed with her ever since. It had been years ago, but the memory still shimmered in Shoya's mind, vivid, untouched by time. She had wandered into a quiet park near her old apartment in Japan, her small feet crunching softly against gravel. The sun filtered through the trees, casting dappled shadows on the worn-out court where a boy was practicing alone. A volleyball bounced once, twice, into the air before he caught it with expert hands. Her eyes lit up. "Oh, a volleyball," she called, hurrying closer. "Do you know how to play?" The boy nodded silently, expression serious. "Want to play together?" she asked. "I know the basics." He hesitated. "But, you're a girl." Shoya blinked, confused. "Huh, so, what's wrong with that?" The boy looked down, a bit embarrassed. "It's just, girls' nets are lower." Shoya shrugged, unfazed. I don't know much about net heights. But I can jump pretty high." That made him glance up. His dark eyes studied her curiously. "Okay, I'll toss for you." "Sure, you toss, I'll spike." They scrambled into place, feet sliding into position with all the seriousness of a real match. The boy lifted the ball. "Here it comes." He tossed it, just a little too gently. The ball dropped short and bounced right into her face with a soft thud. "Ouch!" Shoya flinched, stumbling back. "Oh no!" the boy gasped, rushing forward. "Are you okay?" "I'm sorry, I thought you were lying about jumping high." "Of course I wasn't lying," she snapped, rubbing her cheek. "That's a bad thing to do." "Sorry." His eyes widened as he noticed her cheek turning pink. "Oh no, your cheek's turning red." "It's fine," she muttered, brushing it off. "I'll ice it at home." She sat down on the edge of the court and looked up at him, smiling through the sting. "By the way, I'm Shoya." "What's your name?" "Tobio," he said after a pause. "Nice to meet you, Tobio." Something changed after that. They spent the next hour talking like old friends, exchanging stories about their favorite players, dream teams, and silly challenges. They passed the ball back and forth, laughing more than spiking. He even taught her how to toss better. It was ordinary, but it stayed with her. And long after they parted ways, long after she moved across the ocean and forgot the name of their street, that memory refused to fade. Tobio. She hadn't realized who he really was, Kageyama Tobio, until years later, when she saw him on TV, wearing the red and white of Japan's national team. She hadn't known it then, but that day in the park had been the start of everything. Now, years later, Shoya had watched him rise, and suddenly fall. Kageyama Tobio, the boy from the park, the star of Japan's national team, had disappeared behind a bow and a goodbye. She sat in silence, eyes still fixed on the frozen livestream screen. "Why now, Tobio?" she whispered. "Why give up?" The room was quiet except for the hum of her laptop. Then, her phone lit up. She answered, brushing a hand through her hair as Kenma's face appeared on screen. "Hey, Kenma, sorry for calling so late," he said, blinking sleepily. "Isn't it midnight there?" Shoya glanced at the clock on her wall. "Oh, right, didn't realize. It's fine, I've got afternoon classes tomorrow." He nodded. "Wanna do a short stream? I need to distress." "Sure." Her voice softened. "But, what really happened?" Kenma's gaze drifted off camera, just for a moment. Then he sighed. "Well, your Mr. Dream Boy decided to retire on his own after the injury." Shoya frowned. "Is it serious?" "Apparently, yeah, but therapy could help." She leaned back in her chair, thinking. "Let me guess, rehab would take a while, and he didn't want to be out too long, so he just gave up." Kenma blinked. "Bingo. How do you know?" Shoya gave a small, sad smile. "Typical Tobio. But you only met him once, right?" "Yeah," she said. "But hours of talking to someone, even as kids, you pick up on stuff." Kenma tilted his head, clearly impressed. "That's pretty sharp. Maybe you should study psychology." "Nope," she grinned. "Got other plans. Let's play LOL. Send the stream link and drop this call." Kenma chuckled. "Before I do, put on your wig and mask." "Oh, right." She reached under her desk and grabbed a short wig and a simple black mask. "All set. Sent. See you in Discord," he said, and the call ended. Shoya stared at her reflection in the darkened screen, her real self tucked beneath layers of digital disguise. But for now, that was okay. The screen flickered to life, and with it, a familiar voice rang out, light and teasing. "Welcome back, everyone," Kenma greeted, eyes half-lidded in his usual deadpan charm. "Just a short stream tonight with my lovely online friend, Miss Tangerines." "Wow, what an intro," Shoya said, grinning beneath her mask and wig. "Trying to make someone jealous, Kazukin." The chat exploded immediately. Streamer 1. "Thank God I stayed up, blessed by that smile." Waving from the US. Streamer 2. "It's midnight there, right? Don't stay up too late, Queen Tangerines." Kuro_black_cat, link. Streamer 3. "Oh, the jealous one's about to join." Kenma smirked. "I'm not. That smirk says otherwise," Shoya teased. Just then, a new user joined the stream. Kuro_black_cat has entered the game. Kenma groaned theatrically. "The betrayal. Sorry," Shoya said, unable to hide her grin. "Hello, kitten." "Hello, Tangerines," came the deep voice through their headsets. "Hi, Tetsu," she replied warmly. "Is it just us? Should I invite more?" he asked. "No, Tetsuro," Kenma cut in. "One round only, we're keeping our queen's beauty well rested. I'll be back before roll call," Kuru promised, voice laced with amusement. "Be here at 5, deal." The chat kept spiraling. Streamer 1. "Haha, Kuro always gets jealous when Kazu praises our queen." Shoya laughed. "He always does, even knowing I'm a girl." Bow_owl. "Sparkles gay sparkles." Kutaro, "Shut it." Shoya beamed. "My favorite owl, Bakuto-san. Hello from the US." Streamer 4. "She speaks Japanese." Swoons. Streamer 6. "Wait, is she Japanese?" Akashi. Bakuto-san's hysterical after that comment. "Oh no. Ha ha ha," Shoya laughs. Streamer 7. "At Tangerines, did you hear about Kageyama's retirement?" Streamer 2. "Yeah, she's a huge fan. Hope you're okay, Queen." "I heard," Shoya answered quietly. "And I'm okay. I still believe Tobio will come back. He's not the type to give up that easily." Streamer 8. "Is this why Kazukin wanted to distress?" "We're affected, yeah," Kenma said gently. "But let's keep it light tonight." They played for 2 hours, laughter and strategies bouncing across the call. The chat was a mix of jokes, cheers, and inside references. For a moment, Shoya forgot the ache in her chest. But when the stream ended, and the screens went dark, reality crept back in. She shut her laptop and got ready for bed, but sleep didn't come. She lay in the silence of her room, eyes on the ceiling, mind spinning. It's almost semester break, so maybe. The thought took root like a spark catching dry leaves. A crazy idea, wild, reckless. Could she really transfer, even sneak, into an all-boys school? She sat up in bed, heart racing. The room was dim, but her resolve flared bright. She stood, walked to her drawer, and pulled out a pair of scissors. In the quiet hum of midnight, she stared at her reflection. Deep breath. "Let's do this," Shoya whispered, and the scissors opened with a click. The morning buzzed with low chatter, sunlight pouring through the windows of Class 2B. "Hey, did you hear?" One student whispered. "We've got a new transfer student." Seriously? His friend leaned closer. Did he get into trouble or something? No clue, just that he's from the US. At the back of the room, Kenma paused mid-scroll. From the US? A flicker of unease curled in his chest. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Kenken. Kuru's voice boomed down the hallway. Canteen later. Whatever, Kenma muttered, slipping his earphones back in. Kuru grinned and turned toward another. Oi, Tasuki, you coming with us? Tsukishima glanced over his book. It's literally first period and you're already thinking about food. Shouldn't you be in the other building? Always so grumpy, Kuru said with a shrug. You coming or not? Yamaguchi smiled. We'll join you later, Kuru-san. That's what I like to hear, Kuru said, clapping once before turning on his heel. Tobio-chan, you're joining too. No buts. Kageyama narrowed his eyes, lips twitching. Tisk. The classroom door slid open. Teacher Takeda entered, clapping twice to gather attention. Alright, everyone, as you may have heard, we're welcoming a transfer student today. The class perked up. He's from the United States, Takeda continued. But don't worry, he speaks fluent Japanese. He stepped aside and gestured toward the door. Come in. The door slid open again. The student stepped in quietly, confidently. There was a grace in his stride that seemed practiced, deliberate. The entire room fell into hushed whispers. Soft features, bright orange hair, something about him drew every gaze. He turned to the board and, with smooth handwriting, wrote, Hinata Shoyo. Then he turned around and smiled. I'm Hinata Shoyo, I'll be in your care starting today. Across the room, Kenma ripped out his earphones, eyes going wide.
To be continued. Seriously? I'm not sure what I'm writing.